right, so we are and if you have your laptops, you can pop them out, because I want to show you my website somewhere in the middle of this. Okay. So does everybody have a copy of this syllabus? I just want to say something really quickly before I get started diving into it. So as a student, I would take a syllabus and be like, yeah, all right, go. This takes hours to do. Like this is like 12 hours of my life. And you would be surprised to know how much faculty agonize over, should I put this here or should I put that? What kind of assignment here and this? So please appreciate this, read this, like make this a part of your life. I'm serious. Okay, so we talked about the course description and we want to look at, let me highlight a couple of the main goals. So again, my name is Peter Blair. My email is here, pblair@clemson.edu. My office is in Serene Hall, which is this building on the second floor in 220F. I'll have office hours from Tuesday to Thursday, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. If you plan on coming to my office hours, please shoot me an email and let me know that you'll be coming and also what the question is that you have. The reason why I want to do that is so I can have a sense of what the flow is of people coming into the office. And if there are folks that have similar questions, we can find a way to bundle it. So please do that. There are three main goals for this course. So, and if you have questions as I go through this, please feel free to just pop your hand up and just ask, okay? I want this to be like a very participatory class because I think that that's how we learn the most. So the philosophical goal here, who can read that for me? Let's get a volunteer to read philosophical principles. I'm going to start like cool calling. Yeah, sure.
Philosophical. Provide students with an introduction to how economists think about the role and value of education.
Okay, good. And so like one example of that would be when we started to talk about, well, okay, we see that folks that have a college degree earn more money. But then we also see that the folks that have a college degree, they're also higher ability as well in some other dimension. Okay? Right. So that would be an example of thinking like an economist. A non-economist is like, oh, people who have college degrees earn more money, so therefore college means people earn more money. No, there's a huge amount of selection into who goes to college and who doesn't. That's going to inform how we should think about this question. You want to read the practical goal?
Sure. Build an economics toolbox that includes solving economic models, managing data, and generating research ideas.
Okay, so I want you guys to walk out of this class with the ability to be able to take a data set, to ask a question of that data set, and to do some analysis of that. This can be terrifying. I remember when I was in college, I was terrified of computer programming, even though I was a physics major. So I could do like triple integrals and differential equations and all these things, but I was like, I don't want to code. And I did not code until my senior year of college. Big mistake. What I want you guys to feel coming out of this class is that you're super comfortable using data, you're super comfortable getting to learn how to use specific packages, and you can answer questions with that. Okay, and the policy.
Policy, integrate the philosophical worldview of economics and practical toolkit of economics for the purpose of engaging with contemporary debates in education policy.
Right. And so economists have a particular way of thinking about the world, right? Also, economists have a particular set of tools that they use to support or refute the claims or the ideas that we have about the world. And then there's the world. We have to engage with the world. We have to talk with people. We have to understand what are the things that they care about. Is it the Common Core? Should education be free? And then we can find constructive ways to inform that debate, but also to interface with that. And I want you to leave with these skills. So this is at a very high level. Let me talk about grading. I feel very strongly that your grade reflects your ability. And I feel like everyone should be able to get an A if everyone's an A student. And so for that reason, I'm committed to an absolute grading system. So like if everybody in this class gets over an 85%, everybody will get A's, right? And my philosophy is, who wants to get A's, right? My philosophy is, I will set very high expectations of you. I will set extremely high expectations of you, but they're gonna be reasonable. And I will provide you with the tools in order to get an A. My mom used to say this thing to me. She said, Peter, don't compete with anybody, just get 100. That's what she said to me as a kid. And so like, I never wondered, well, what did this person get? What did they get? Am I gonna beat the curve or whatever? I just said, let me do the best that I can do and like max that up. And that's what I'm gonna expect to do. Like I've put a lot of effort into developing this course. I've put a lot of effort into thinking about how this is gonna be constructed. And if you work with the plan, you will get an A, and if you work with the plan, you will learn a lot. And so it's not just gonna be like, I'm not just giving out A's like, you get an A, you get an A, you get an A, it's not Christmas. But I'm gonna require you to work hard. So you can see A, B, C, D. And the ranges are like 15 point increments. I'm not gonna nickel and dime you on that because I know we just have A, B, and C. I want you all to do well. In terms of the evaluation, so there are 4 different things. There's going to be the homeworks, which will be 15%. The 2 mini projects, which are going to be 15% each. One is going to be theoretical in the sense that you're going to have an actual model that you're going to solve. And so my background is, part of my background is in physics too, and I think everybody should feel comfortable knowing how to solve a model. So if you believe this class solving models, do not be intimidated by anything. That's like my cardinal rule. Do not be afraid. If there's something that seems difficult to you, there are tons of people that have done it before you. Before I got my license, I was terrified of driving. But I thought, you know what, you have millions of people that drive every day. I can do this. There are tons of people that model, you can do this. The third thing is going to be a research proposal. And so that's going to come towards the latter part of the course. And so with that, what I want you to do is to be able to think about a research question within the sphere of the economics of education that you would want to pursue. And then talk about what is the idea, what data would I want to use, what kind of a model would I use, and like what kind of analysis would I do in order to accomplish this particular project. And that's going to be just a 1 to 2 page document. So it's not going to be anything that's going to be very dramatic. And then there are going to be 2 tests. There's going to be a midterm and there's going to be a final. And the timing for the final is set by the registrar. I believe our final is, you just look for whatever the course time is for our course, and then the final is going to be already prescribed. So you can find that online, and I'll post that too. What I have next is a description of all of the various homework assignments, and I have been very thoughtful to think about which homework assignments are going to help you to learn the material, and are also going to help you to accomplish the aims of this course. What I've also done is I've stacked the homeworks to the first half of the course, because the homeworks are really going to provide you with a lot of the technical foundation for the latter part of the course. So it's going to be like week 1, homework, 2 next week, homework, 2 next week, homework, 2 next week, right? But you're going to be working in groups. So it's not, the goal of the homework is not to stress you, but the goal of the homework really is to build up your muscles. You're like an Olympic athlete. You're Simone Biles on the team, about to destroy the world. Okay. Now, I encourage you to. So the homeworks and the projects are going to be done in groups. So I want you to pair up with 3 people. I think we have about 30 people in the course, and so form a group of 3 people. And here's my thinking about this. Some people are very cynical about group work because they're like, oh, somebody's going to slack and this and that and so on. My view of it is you have a unit of folks who are working on this very same questions who you meet with to talk about the homework, to talk about the projects, to talk about the economics, to really bounce ideas off of each other, right? So you're like the Clemson football team, you're stronger together. That's the model of teamwork that I have in mind. And I've seen this work phenomenally in the graduate course that I taught last semester. Like, it worked so well that I was like, oh my God, I can push my students even harder. And I pushed them harder and they did better. And you had students coming out of that experience with really good friendships, but also with a lot of very strong technical tools. Typically in courses like this, people think that they're going to learn the most from the instructor. You actually learn even more from each other because there's certain questions that you're not embarrassed to ask each other. And there might be overlaps in terms of maybe you understand something that she does and she understands something that you don't, so you can share those ideas. So what I want you to do is to get together in a group of 3. So like use either the time after the class or between this class and the next class and like find that group of 3. And then just shoot me an email and say, hey, like this is our group of 3, CC everybody that's going to be on it. For the homeworks, I want the homeworks to be typeset. And by that I mean, so there's a specific program called LaTeX that you will learn. And I'll give you some examples of what to do. The reason why I'm encouraging you to do that is because if you do anything with equations or with math, it's a lot easier to do LaTeX. LaTeX is basically like, Microsoft Word, but it has like really cool features for equations. So let me show you an example of that. And if you have your laptop, you can go to this website called shirleytech.com. Okay. So what I like about LaTeX is it's a very nice format for collaboration. So let me open it up. Let me open up this project. So this is a project that I had with one of my PhD students where we look at occupational licensing. And I'll show you exactly how this works. It's not that intimidating, but it's a really cool skill to have. And when you go into the work, you can say, hey, I can tell exactly. So on this left-hand side here, what you see is these are all the files that are in this particular folder. So this is just like Microsoft Word, just like your desktop. And this piece here is going to be the quote-unquote code. And so, for example, like there's a lot of preamble here just to tell you like what's the formatting for the page. And the preamble is standard, so I can send you some stuff on the preamble. Even if you, the salient thing is you just need to write like begin document. And everything is like backslash command in parentheses. And then I start to write. This is the title of the document, occupational licensing reduced racial offendages, wage caps, right? And once you type all of this stuff, so most of it is just like regular typing, but there are some instances where like the tables are like typesetted in a more fancy way. Now when I press compile, what you're gonna see on the right-hand side is this really beautiful PDF document. And it's not a hard program to learn. The Shirley Tech platform is really nice. So okay, so you can see this is our research paper here. And we can embed figures and tables. So this table is like these are the kinds of tables that you will see in the economics research paper. And so what I want you to do is I want you to get on this like very early to learn how to do this too. And what you can do is like as a